is moving in place. This again tells you that it is not the battery that is the problem, but the movement. A second hand that is moving forward but skipping seconds is an indication that a new battery is required. If you see no signs from the second hand, place the watch on a battery analyzer. If there is a pulse, as indicated by the green light on the analyzer, then we know that the watch is receiving power, but that there is another problem causing the watch not to work. At this point, the watch should be referred to a quartz watch repair technician. If the battery analyzer shows no pulse, now it is time to try replacing the battery to see if that makes the watch begin to run properly. Let the customer know that you are trying a battery and that this may or may not solve the problem. If it does begin running with a new battery, great. If not, again, refer the watch to a repair technician for further diagnosis. Changing the battery. Stop. If you are uncomfortable changing the battery in any particular watch, don't do it. Many a huge problem has been avoided by listening to that little voice inside your head. If you feel uncomfortable, refer it to a more experienced or trained watch technician. Opening the watch. There are 4 major types of watch casebacks that you will come in contact with. They are a snap-off back, a screw-off back, a back with case screws, and sometimes, but not as often, a hatchback. A word of caution. This part of the watch movement is the coil. It's made with thin copper strands of wire and is very delicate. The wires can break if they are scratched with a case knife or poked with a pair of tweezers. Be very careful not to touch this, or you'll be buying a new movement for the customer. To open a snap-off back, you'll want to find the notch in the case where you may put your knife to wedge open the case. If you use your loupe to inspect the back as you should, you will often see an arrow pointing to the notch for you. Place a piece of packing tape over the case back to protect it from any slips that may happen. Insert your knife into the notch, press gently, and then in a rocking motion rather than a pushing motion, snap off the back of the case. A screwback case can be identified by the several notches around the case back. To remove this type of case back, you will need a spanner wrench. Begin by fitting one of the top legs into one of the notches on the case back, and then roll the adjustment wheel until a second leg fits into the notch. Fit the third leg by turning the handle of the wrench. Once you have loosened the back, you can complete the removal with your fingers or with a tweezer. To remove a back that has case screws, simply unscrew the 4 or more screws that hold it onto the case. Be sure to place the removed screws into a tray so that they do not get lost. A hatchback has a compartment in which the battery sits. The hatch cover can be removed with a quarter, simply by turning.